Hi everyone, I'm Rob Ladd. Welcome to the Cavalier Sports Report at Johnson County Community College. Over the weekend, the men's and women's cross-country teams went up to the Woody Greeno Invitational in Lincoln, Nebraska. The men's team finished 8th and the women's team came in 9th. One of their highest places so far in the year. We're joined now by head coach Mike Bloemker. Coach Bloemker, thanks for being here this morning.
Great to be here.
Let's start off with the weekend because it sounds like it was a great tournament for both the men and the women. I guess just kind of give us a review of what happened.
It was a great meet for us. We went up to Woody Greeno. They hosted at the cross-country site that University of Nebraska actually runs off all their meets. And started the day with the women's race, and our women typically don't finish. It's a really large meet, 300 some odd runners, anywhere from 20 to 25 teams, and typically our women's team finishes around 15th, somewhere around there. This year we were 9th. It just kind of correlates with how the season's gone so far. We started our year at Baker, and our women's team outperformed anything they've ever done there time-wise. Went to CMSU last week, exact same thing. Women again outperformed anything time-wise, and then this weekend at Woody Greeno, exact same thing. We've had an awesome year so far. One of the things I think is really important on the women's side, not a single community college has even come close to beating us at any of these meets that we've been at. So they've kind of been running the table on everybody. They've been racing as far as community colleges. So, but this weekend, led by Aubrey Rogers, Aubrey had an awesome performance. She was right around 40th place, and then the women just packed it in right behind her. So I was just really pleased with where we were at. Shelby Clark, one of our freshmen, she was our second runner in, had a great performance, and then our sophomores, just all of them just came in one right after another after Shelby. So really good weekend. On the guys' side, what's really exciting is the men knocked off 5th-ranked Butler County Community College, and we're really close to beating 2nd-ranked Garden City Community College. And our guys' team is really close together. They come in literally within about 30 to 45 seconds of each other, which is in cross-country really important. One thing I thought was particularly good this weekend, we got 5 runners in. You score 5, your top 5 runners score in cross-country. We got our top 5 in before Garden City's top 5. So looking forward into November, I think good things could come. So Nathan Sloniker was our top runner. Nathan's been our top runner all year so far, and he finished 40th place, which they about 350 guys in the race. So big field.
Yeah, and you guys are ranked now in the top 10. I think you said number 9 in both men's and women's.
Right, correct? We're ranked 9th on both sides. I don't really think the rankings are accurate right now. If I had to rank it personally myself, I would put us 4th, 5th in that range. So I think we're moving in the right direction. There's a lot of positives. One of the big positives is the men and the women, if you just look at it from a time aspect, they are outperforming any team that I've ever had. And I told the men on Saturday that any team I've ever had that finished in the top 10 at Nebraska, they made the podium at National Cross Country. So I think we're on the right track.
So you're saying this might be one of the best teams you ever had. What were your expectations coming into this fall?
You know, my expectations were particularly on the women's side. I thought, yeah, I think we got a pretty good team. Men have surprised me a little, but we've got a lot of talent. We got a lot of guys who run really hard. They just put whatever they have right out on the table that day, and they're doing an unbelievable job, unbelievable job. So right now, as it stands, I have the 2 best teams I've ever had. So been here 13 years.
That's a pretty good deal so far this year, and it's still early in the season. Now you mentioned that you guys 9th for the women's at the Woody Greeno, but you did that without maybe your top women's runner.
Chino Whitetree is our top runner. Well, she was our top runner last week, and then she was number 2 in at Baker. Aubrey Rogers is our sophomore runner, and she's usually either our 1 or our 2. So it's safe to say that she is, one of our top 2 runners, and she had a horrible day. And if we get her back up with Aubrey, we're probably 6th overall at the meet. So she's really important to our team, and I hope in the future we just we avoid some of these problems.
Now, I imagine you can have maybe a little bit more accurate expectations coming into cross country than some sports because you have a lot of crossover athletes, and maybe crossover is not the accurate term, but you have people that run long distance in the track during the spring that also run in the fall for cross country.
Right, and pretty much every one of the athletes I have, they'll run both. So every single athlete we recruit for cross country, it's one of those deals, you're going to run track too. So, and they run anywhere from 600 meters all the way up to 10,000 meters. On the women's side, Shelby Clark is going to be one of our better middle distance runners, and she's our number 2 runner in cross right now. So it really doesn't matter.
Well, if you continue improving from one meet to the other, I got to think preparation is a big part of that. How do you practice cross country?
We just run a lot. We run, twice a day on a couple days a week, and we do our long run on Sunday, and it's a lot of time and effort, And we're running a whole lot right now, more than any other team I've ever had.
Where do you guys run in the area?
Shawnee Mission Park's kind of our home away from home. We spend a lot of time running out there. So, and there's miles of trails that run right off of campus.
And you've got a couple meets coming up, and you say that you've got one here in a few weeks. Are you actually going to travel to
Disney
Florida?
World?
And
Yeah,
Disney
we're going
World?
to Disney World, so we try and get down there every year if we can. It's a fun trip.
What do you, I guess, hope that your athletes gain traveling around, because you guys run all over the country. What's that like for, not only a student athlete, but I guess it's balancing the student athlete part of it, but also traveling somewhere and being prepared to get off a bus and run.
It's one of those things that you just have to practice doing. So it's for the freshmen, sometimes the first trip where we fly, and if you fly down there, sometimes we get in late and then we got to run first thing in the morning. It can be a little tough, but they get used to it after a while, especially the distance runners, because we haul them all over the country week after week after week. So it's not too hard.
We're going to keep an eye on you, especially as you continue to climb up the rankings. Thanks again for being with us this morning.
Great. Good to be here.
For Coach Mike Bloemker, I'm Rob Ladd. Make sure you keep an eye on the cross-country team as they sky up the polls this year. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.